Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Crafternoon Tea. So this week I'm going to show you how to turn a tin can into a little bunny planter, which is a great way to, if you haven't got plant pots, you can just turn a tin can instead. So what you'll need is a tin can, an empty one obviously. Take the label off, give it a good wash, make sure it's all clean, okay? We'll need some paint. I've got some white acrylic paint because it's quite good for covering. And then I've just got some white card and a bit of pink card as well. That'll be for the details after. Okay, so what we're going to do to begin with is we're going to cover our tin can in the white paint. It may take a few coats, we may be lucky. It looks like it's just going to cover quite well. You can give it a few coats if you like. Okay, so we're just going to cover all of it in white paint. So it's a great Easter craft and it's a great craft for spring as well. So get planting your plants for this year. Oh, got a bit of paint on the table there. Okay, so we want to make sure everything's covered, except for yourself. You don't want to get yourself covered in this paint. You can paint the inside too as well if you like. There we go, so it's covering quite nicely. This is a fairly small tin, but you can use all different shapes and sizes. There we go, so everything's covered. So what we're going to do is we're just going to leave that to dry. We might give it an extra coat, we'll see how it dries out. But there you go, all covered in white paint. So I'm going to pop it on there so I don't cover my table in white paint as well. Perfect, okay, so my hand's a little bit messy, just give them a rub. At least the paint will dry then, we can give them a wash after. I'm just getting the white paint off the table. And then what I'm going to do next is, whilst that's drying and it might need another coat, I'm going to start making the details. So I've got my white bit of card, and what I'm going to do is I'll draw it out first. I'm going to draw some ears, which we'll glue on. So we've got our ears drawn. We don't need them too big because we've got to think in the scale of the can. We need some eyes for the bunny. Make them fairly big, but again, we don't want them too big. So again, drawing those. And we need some feet. So I'll hold this up in a second so you can see the feet. There we go. So we've got the ears, the eyes, and the feet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut them out. So one ear so far. And then what I'm going to do is give it a bit of a pink detail as well. So I'm going to cut a smaller shape, similar to that though, and then what we'll do is we'll stick it in the middle of that. Flip that over for the pencil marks. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that down onto my bit of card. So you can see we've already got our first ear on the go. I'm going to need to do exactly the same for the other ear, and we'll need a bit of the pink as well to make a nose for our bunny. And then I'm just going to make a nose, sort of roundish nose. so. So that'll be our nose. And then we've got our ears underway. So, oh, I forgot to put the lid on that. So just going to pop that into the middle of my ear as well. So they're slightly different, but it gives it a bit of character. So as you can see, we've got our ears so far, we've got our nose, and we're going to have our eyes and our feet. So let's cut the feet out next. So there's one foot. We'll cut the other one out. So now we've cut our other foot out. The idea is to have quite big features on the bunny, so don't worry if it looks a bit off, looks a bit too big. You can scale them however you like. I'm just cutting out the eyes now. And I've got a bit of blue card, which I'll use for the pupils. Just at this moment, I'm just going to check how the tin can is doing and perhaps try and put some extra paint on, just to make sure it's covered. So let's give it another little dose. Even if it's just the front bit. So I'm just going to leave that to dry and finish off the last bits. I've got all paint on my hands, but that's fine. It's part of the process, isn't it? So let's cut out the last eye. Have a bit of my blue card. Cut the pupil. And again, so you can see the bunny is taking some shape now. So now we just need to do the little bit of details for the bunny's toes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut similar shape to what we did for the ears. Like so. And I'll stick that down in a second. If you don't have the different coloured card, you could draw it on, you could paint it on. You can do whichever way. So it doesn't matter that they're not exactly the same, it's handmade, that's what we say. If you wanted to give your bunny some whiskers, you could use pipe cleaners or bits of string. There we go. So this is how our bunny will look. Oh, got that stuck to my finger. So I'm just waiting for the tin to dry, so I'll pause the video for now and then join me in a few seconds and I'll show you how to finish off your bunny planter. So welcome back, and it's now time to put our bunny together. So we've got our tin can painted, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my glue gun just to make sure it's nice and secure. So let's start off by adding the bunny's ears. So I'm going to put one ear there and one ear there. What would be good as well is if you can get a nail and pop a hole in the bottom, then you'll have your draining as well for your little planter, so water can drain out. So we've got our ears on already. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to put the feet on. So I'm going to pop a foot there. I'll turn it round in a sec so you can see. Another foot roughly there. So we've got our feet and we've got our ears. Next I'm going to add the nose. Which I'm going to put quite close to the feet because we've got to squidge the eyes in as well. So there we go. And one eye there, and another eye there. So as mentioned before, you could add some whiskers to your bunny, but there we go, we've got one bunny tin planter. Pop your soil in, pop your bulb or your seeds in and watch it grow. But there you go, that's a good way to make a little plant pot out of a tin can. Enjoy this craft, it's a good one for Easter or spring. Make sure you put a little hole in the bottom. If you get a nail and sort of hammer it or something like that, you'll be able to have a little draining hole. So enjoy this craft and see you again next week for another Crafternoon Tea. Bye for now.